Hey guys, this is Jason Morris, real estate agents that really work. Hey, so I listen to a lot of agents, and I have agents messaging me through Facebook and stuff. It's kind of cool. If you have a problem and you need some help, send me a message through Facebook. I try to help you if I can. But I want to talk about real estate coaches, and I've been doing some thinking. I've been listening to some stuff on YouTube, and I listen to a lot of YouTube stuff, especially when I'm driving. I save videos I see that look interesting, and then on the way to appointments, um, I play them, and then I talk to agents often, and one thing I've seen across the industry when it comes to real estate coach, should you hire a coach? What kind of coach you should hire? It seems there is absolute mass confusion across the industry, and there's a lot of coaches out there that a lot of them are just looking to take your money. They don't really have much depth in their program. They are just looking for that monthly check from you. And a lot of agents seem to take the path of least resistance. They'll pick the strategies, they'll pick the coaches and stuff that seem to be the easiest ones, or seem to be the ones that kind of are geared towards the stuff they don't want to do rather than the stuff they need to do to grow their business. Like I was listening to one guy talking, he was talking about not you shouldn't call expireds and for sale by owners. And I'm looking around the market and I'm looking around the agents I know, and there's a lot of agents don't call expires and for sale by owners, and they sell a lot of real estate, but they have a massive marketing budget. They are spending a ton of money. They might be making $20,000 a month, but they're spending 10 of it, on Zillow mailings and stuff like that, Facebook ads, different things. So and there's a lot of different coaches that say like a lot of different things out there. So I want to help you narrow it down. I find that it seems like there are really six different types of coaches out there. And I want to tell you what they are, and then you can, to help you decide like number one, if you think you need a coach. And I think that a lot of us need help shortening that learning curve, especially newer agents. We need help getting from point A to point B, or really from point A to point C, which is cash and a check. So so here's the five types. You know, there's coaches that preach. I'm gonna call this referral only coaching. And what it is these coaches they talk about developing relationships within your database and within your community. And it's a lot about going out there, meeting people, networking in person, nurturing those relationships, building relationships where hopefully they trust you, and then asking them for business over and over again. And that's a great place to be in the business. I mean, basically you're just working on continuing to build your sphere of influence. But here's the problem with that is sometimes it can be very limiting, especially for new agents. It's going to take you a little while for your sphere of influence to start sending you business. If you're a brand new agent, you know, it's going to be hard to get a brand new person that you've never met to have confidence in sending somebody to you. So if you're thinking about doing referral only coaching and you're a brand new agent, it's great to work your sphere of influence, but you need to do that along with other stuff. But referral only coaching, they focus on developing relationships, developing your database, and marketing to your database, asking for referrals. And typically that's a lot of them. That's all they do. So okay, then the number two type of coaching, which is really popular and it draws a lot of crowds and a lot of Facebook shares and a lot of talk about it on Facebook. And I'm going to call it the path of least resistance coaching. It's basically a lot of these coaches that they've never actually sold real estate themselves. And they have clients that are successful and it seems to work for people and stuff, but it's the path of least resistance. It's a lot about technology, a lot about building landing pages, a lot about Facebook ads, a lot about making, funny YouTube videos, a lot about holding open houses. A lot of it's artificial communication where you're not actually talking to a person directly. You're not directly selling anything. You're just going out there and you're doing a lot of stuff and hoping that people come to you. So, and a lot of it's around technology and a lot of it's, stuff that's just easy to do, that that you can avoid. A lot of it is busy work. A lot of it's like things like blogging, things like vlogging and creating videos. A lot of it's just stuff that's, I don't want to say it's dumb, because I've done a lot of it before and a lot of it's worked for me. But the thing is, it's for people that are avoiding. Like, it works really well for somebody that's not going to make calls. They're not going to call for sale by owners. They're not going to call, a lot of people. They're going to take the path of least resistance and work on stuff that's just not where they're not having to directly go out there and call people. And a lot of them have fooled themselves to believe that, oh, I just work with warm leads that call me. And there's a lot of limitations. And the thing is, it's going to take you a lot of blog posts. It's going to take you a lot of videos. And it's going to take you a while before those things rank in Google. Open houses, open houses are tough. Rather than spending 4 hours or 6 hours sitting in an open house, I'd rather spend 4 or 6 hours on the phone making calls. But the path of least resistance coaching is what I'd call that. Okay, number 3 is your marketing coach. These are the guys that are going out there and they're telling you, hey, you're going to spend X number of dollars and you're going to get this sort of return on your money. And they're the guys out there telling you got to do a billboard, you got to do direct mail, you got to do Zillow, you got to do realtor.com, you got to do all this stuff. And the problem with a lot of these guys that are marketing, marketing coaches, and they're telling you all these systems that cost tons of money to implement, you got to go out there and farm. That's a big one. It takes a ton of money. It takes a ton of money to work with these coaches, because not only do you, and I see a lot of agents doing this, they're doing well in the business. They're selling 3, 4, 5 properties a month. But then when you really look at their numbers and look at what they're bringing home and their net, yeah, they've got a ton of leads and they're really busy and they're selling a lot of stuff, but they're spending $5,000 a month on, marketing. They're spending $10,000 a month on marketing. So that's called your marketing coaches. Okay, the next one, I didn't even know a name for it. I didn't want to use a specific coaching company because I just don't like to do that. But I'm going to call it collective coaching. What they're doing is they go out there and they're collecting a lot of material. They're collecting a lot of stuff. And they're throwing it all on their coaching clients in a shotgun approach. And they're taking basically all the systems they can find. They're packaging them up as their own. And I mean, it's everything from open houses, Facebook ads, building a team across the country. There's not a whole lot of focus on it. They're talking about all that. They're talking about Facebook ads, and they're talking about, working pre-foreclosures, and they're talking about making calls, and they've got 100 different systems they're teaching on. I say 100, but there's a lot of different teaching stuff they're teaching on, and there's no way that an agent, especially a new agent, can get to all of these. And this sort of collective coaching is really confusing for a new agent, because what happens is they get in the state where they're just overwhelmed with what's happening and what they need to do. They think, wow, I got to blog, I got to recruit people, I got to hire an assistant. And they're doing 10 deals a year, and for some reason they think they need a full-time administrative assistant. It's crazy, but they think there's all this stuff they got to do. And collective coaching is, it seems to work, but it works well for the agents that can pick and choose, and maybe the agents that, hey, you know what? They're making all the calls they can make during a day. They've maxed out themselves making calls. So yeah, they do need a team member. They do need to add, if they want to grow, they do need to add an additional system. But for new agents, collective coaching is going to be overwhelming for them. And all of a sudden, they're going to be working 100 hours a week, and a lot of it's going to be pulled in a lot of different directions. And it's not going to be very productive. It's going to be very busy, but in a lot of cases, it's not going to be very productive. The agents that are going to succeed with collective coaching are the ones that are experienced. They've been in the business for a while. They've maxed themselves out on something else. Okay, the fifth one, I'm going to save the best one for last here. The one that I think is the best one for last, that I think is the foundation for everything. The fifth one, we're going to call it, we're just going to call it, I didn't come up with a name for it. Let's call it random coaching. Okay. Okay, we'll call it random coaching, where they're coaching you on everything except for going out there and selling real estate. I've seen this before. They're coaching you on stuff that isn't going to directly lead to a sale. These are a lot of your guys that are life coaches. They're talking about, the drunk monkey, and they're talking about stuff that's like, um, they're talking about building your mindset. They're talking about, these things. I mean, they're lots of times they seem like almost they're more of a psychologist, psychologist, more of a psychiatrist than they are a real estate coach. They're telling you about all this stuff, all the, why you do what you do or why you don't do what you do. They're worried about, your disc test and your personality profile and all this stuff that's really not going to lead to a sale. And and sometimes the disc test, I believe the disc test is accurate. I believe that it works. I mean, when you look at my personality profile, I'm a medium to high D and a super high I, and I mean that's the truth. And then I'm a low S and a low C, and it's the truth, man. I'm good at going out there talking to people and finding business. But I'm not good at doing paperwork and organizing stuff. I typically I don't need to know all the information sometimes to get started today, depending on what the situation is. But I believe that this agent that's out there and they're an S and a C, and maybe they're uncomfortable. They're super detail oriented, and maybe they're uncomfortable going out there and talking to a lot of people. But I believe they can develop that skill set. So lots of times I don't think the DISC test is as important as a lot of people think it is. I think we should do the activities we're good at, but I think that we can develop the skills. All the stuff we do in real estate that makes us successful, it's a learned skill. It's not a God given talent or anything like that. These random coaches, they're going to coach you on everything except for how to go out there and generate business and sell property. You know, um, they're great if you're feeling bad that day. They're great. They'll try to get you pumped up, but they're really not going to help you make a lot of money in some cases. So the sixth, and this is the thing. This is the one that I think is the. This is the one I think is the best coaching, and this is the one I think that is the by far the one you guys should all look for, especially if you're a brand new agent. You should look for a sales coach. Now, this is the coach that's going to go out there and they're going to help you build sales skills. They're going to teach you how to go out there and look for your own business, to self-generate leads. This is the coach that's going to teach you how to schedule your day. Stick to your schedule. They're going to help teach you how to do your scripts, your dialogues, your listing presentations, how to be more effective on the phone. They're going to teach you real follow-up strategies. They're going to teach you pricing strategies, how to use your net sheet, how to use all these different things, and they're going to teach you to go out there and close the sale. Now, this is the best coaching, in my opinion, and this is for a couple of different reasons. Okay, I believe that all of these different systems and all these different coaches, yeah, they're going out there and they're telling you how to develop relationships within your database, but they're not teaching you how to effectively close the sale. They're not teaching you what to do on a listing appointment. They're teaching you how to get the leads, but they're not teaching you what to do with it sometimes. The path of least resistance coaching. Yeah, man, open houses. If you want to spend every Saturday doing an open house and knocking on doors and inviting people and stuff, it's fantastic. But here's the thing. What do you do with those people after you find them? You need a coach that's going to help you follow up and putting them in an email system with some drip mails where they're going to get emails from you for the next 15 years. Um, that's fantastic. That's something that we all should do. But we don't need a coach to tell us how to do that. What we need a good CRM. We need a good you know, we just need to sit down there and watch a 30-minute video on YouTube and just go do it. You know, your marketing coach is the same way. They're going to teach you how to spend a lot of money, but those leads that you're going to generate through marketing, lots of times when you figure out your dollar amount per closed sale, it's going to be outrageous. You'd be better off paying a referral in a lot of cases on each deal you're doing. So the collective coaching, there's just not enough focus there. You need that sales coach that's going to keep you motivated, keep you on your schedule, and keep you focused on the most important things that are in your business. And the things that are important in your business is talking to sellers and talking to buyers, and working with more sellers and working with more buyers. And they're going to teach you how to effectively lead generate to go out there and get it. Because I believe in the end, fundamentally, I believe that we are I believe we're a direct sales company, our direct sales agent. We're going out there, we're not selling, we're not selling Avon or nothing like that. We're selling a system that sells houses. And you need a coach that's going to teach you how to build your home selling system. And if you're working with buyers, you need a coach that's going to teach you how to build your buyer system. Now, here's the thing about coaches too. Sometimes, is there's a lot of coaches out there that want you to sign like a 12-month agreement with them. They're going to sign. There's one of them out there that I was talking to, and I done one of the free calls, and a lot of them give you free strategy sessions and stuff. And they wanted a 24-month commitment at $2,500 a month, where they even wanted access to my checking account statements. And I mean, they had a lot of successful people in the program, but here's the thing: with a lot of coaches, sometimes you're going to plateau very quickly. You're going to hit a point where it's like all of a sudden, like, hey, a lot of things even I talk about sometimes are the same things over and over and over and over again. And one of the reasons I do that is because I think a lot of these things, it's so important that you hear about it all over and over and over again. And I'm not a coach, and this isn't a call where I'm pitching a specific coaching company. I just want to help agents. I don't want you to get tied up with one of these coaches that is telling you that the best system that you need is Instagram. Because I'll tell you, you can have a fantastic business and not do Facebook ads, not do Instagram, and not buy Zillow ads, and not pay for Realtor.com. And you can have a fantastic business and not pay for any of these things. And the thing about your business, what you want is you want a profitable business. You want a business that, like, hey, if you take 2 weeks off, in June, you don't have a $10,000 marketing payment you still have to pay, because taking that 2 weeks off, man, it's going to be tough to follow up with those leads and stuff. Or, and a lot of agents, man, they're doing 25 deals a year, and they're in Columbia, South Carolina. They don't need to start building a team in Phoenix, Arizona. That just makes absolutely no sense at all. You know, they're struggling to get their first deals done. A team is not the answer. You know, I mean, maybe for a lot of you guys, doing it more open houses is. If you're doing them right, maybe that's the answer for you. But you need the coach that's going to help you build sales skills around doing those open houses. You need a coach that's going to help you build sales skills around working your database, around, all of these other little systems people talk about and do. And it's my opinion, if you're a brand new agent, you need to look at having a sales coach rather than one of these other 5 different types of coaches. So guys, if you're looking for a lead generation system or leads, I use RedX to give a $150. They waive the $150 sign up fee if you tell them I sent you. Hey guys, try my follow up app. If you haven't tried it out, it's follow JasonMorrisFollowUpMaster.com. Just click on the Android or iPhone logo and download the app, and you get a free 30-day trial. Try it out. Let me know what you think. Give me some feedback. And guys, I'm looking for agents to work with in specific parts of the country, in specific markets. If you think you want to work with me, send me a message through Facebook, or send me an email at JasonMorrisMyrtleBeach@gmail.com, and we'll set up a time we can talk. Anyway, guys, have a great day.